Hello, friend. So, I wanted to share a story with you because I don't actually think that I've shared my experience about this too much or even at all. But I feel like for those of you who are just starting belly dance or are going to start belly dance, you might find a lot of relatability in this, and it may help make belly dancing just a little bit less scary for you to actually do. So I started belly dancing like actually consistently in 2006. And I was doing social work at the time. And so it was not even in my wheelhouse to take dance classes regularly. I hadn't since I was a young child. And the only time I danced was truly in settings where it was very informal, very fun, and the music was just electric. So it was really hard to actually not dance. But the formal training side of me had actually like stopped a long time ago. My mom and dad had put me in, I think, like ballet for a year and modern dance and tap. And I did not retain any of those skills. Maybe a little bit of ballet. I did take ballet again as an adult. But as a child, I was like, I don't think I really retained any of that. And I also took baton twirling, which was really fun. So when I had the opportunity to take belly dancing classes, it was taught out of a bookstore in Bookman's, which is a local bookstore here in Phoenix, Arizona, and they were free at the time, which was amazing because like who offers free belly dance classes like ongoingly? The facility was the one who was actually funding the class, and that was where I met my first mentor, Diane slash Tisa. She's amazing. I love her so much. She's actually recently started dancing again, which I find very exciting. So I started taking these classes with one of my coworkers, Lisa. And like I said, I was doing social work at the time. So it was a nice release from what I was doing for my job. And it was just so much fun. My friend Lisa loved to move her body, and she was interested in belly dancing. I told her a little bit ago, like at that time, I say a little bit ago, like it was like now happening. But I told her, when we first started, because we were partnered, she was part of my team when we were doing social work. And she was like, hey, there's free belly dance classes. You want to go? And I said, yes. So we went to class and we were going pretty regularly, actually. And I just found it as a blessing that I could go to a dance class that I didn't need to actually pay for right off the bat because I had just graduated college and I was in social work, not because I wanted to be necessarily, but because I couldn't find a better job with the degrees I had. So I was like, okay, let's go take this class. So we've been taking it for a while. And Tisa, Diane, my then mentor and teacher, was like, Samantha, I see a lot of potential in you. And I can't remember all of the like timelines, so forgive me if I kind of bounce back and forth. But one of the things that she had asked me to do because she saw this potential in me was she asked me to demonstrate movements in the front of the class, which freaked the F out of me. I was like, why is she asking me to demonstrate movements so the other class could see? And I could remember so vividly, it was a hip circle that she had me demonstrate. And I remember being slightly off-centered to the right in the front of this tiny rec room inside of a bookstore. And I was like, oh my God. And I could just feel, it felt like existential being in the front of the class, actually moving my hips, and other people were following me. It was so crazy. And soon after, she had asked me to actually substitute for her class. So let me give you some context about why this is surprising to me. I started belly dancing with her in February of 2006, and it was only about 6 months later that she had asked me to do this, to teach for her, substitute. She had asked me maybe a few weeks earlier to demonstrate the movement. I can't remember that exact timeline. Scared the shit out of me. You want me, a 6-month dancer, to substitute your class? Why? Why would you do that to the students? Why would I embarrass myself? Why would I put myself out there? Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And in her mind, she knew what she was doing. I didn't have a clue, or at least I thought I didn't have a clue about what I was doing. So I substitute the class. I don't actually remember how the class went. I was more surprised about the experience of even being asked. I don't know how the class went. I think it went fine because everyone came back the next week. Maybe because they knew I wouldn't be teaching, but that's besides the point. The point of the story is she, as my teacher, has been dancing for years. She performed for years. She's seen hundreds of students, if not thousands of students, like learning, and she's been teaching for such a long time. She knew what she was doing. To me, I did not know what I was doing. However, I trusted her, and I trusted her to know what would benefit me in belly dancing. And I loved it. I was not naturally good at a lot of the movements at first. It felt very foreign, very awkward to coordinate kind of like sequential movement, like the undulation. It felt very weird to not move other body parts. When I'm actually doing the movement, I'm just like placing myself back in that moment where I'm trying to do this hip circle, and it took every ounce of concentration for me to not move my chest. And it did anyway, by the way. But it felt so hard that finally when I got that hip circle, I was like so proud of myself because it took me a long ass time to get there. But to her, she saw the potential in me. She knew, based on my effort, my attitude, and the fact that I'd show up every week, that I was going to be able to go far with this because I didn't give up. I came back really regularly. I rarely missed class, I think, at the time. I rarely missed class. And when I came, I was present. I was there. I was like in the zone, focusing on my stuff. And let me tell you, at the time, I was like 22. I was about to turn 23, or I just turned 23. My attention span was not great. But when it came to this, I was like really focused. And in that moment when she asked me to substitute for her, it scared the crap out of me because I really didn't think that I was qualified to do it. But I trusted her enough and well to know that she knew what she was doing. So I went off of that and believed that if she saw something in me, maybe there is something inside of me that can do this, that can actually teach a class, that can actually go further and help mentor, in a way, the other students in the class. And it was really hard for me to go off of that. It was also really hard for me to say no because at the time I was like a people pleaser, very much so. But I'm so glad that that people pleasing sense like actually worked out in my benefit, because her belief in me helped me see outside of how I was currently viewing myself and how I would commonly see the way I interacted with the world. And I never thought myself like a leader in this way. Even in college, I was an RA. I was a resident assistant at University of Arizona. I was in Tucson. And one of the years, my fellow resident assistants, my fellow RAs, voted me for a leadership award. And I was really taken aback because I did not view myself that way. I didn't view myself as a leader. I didn't view myself as a person who could inspire someone else, who could show up in a way where it really allowed other people to also show up in a particular way bigger than what they knew, right? Bigger than maybe they've seen before, with more visibility. They weren't able to hide. They weren't able to shrink. They weren't able to not volunteer in some way. And that was one of the times that shocked me. But this one really shocked me too, because it was with my body, and I had huge body image issues, a lot of like clarity around how my body realistically actually looked based in fact, weight, measurements, inches, height, all of that. It was just a perception. I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm big, like I take up too much space, I need to shrink myself. Like I had all this going on. So for her to ask me, in spite of knowing that that may have come through at some point while she was teaching me, like, wow. And I just had to allow myself to be kind of wrong about the way that I saw myself. And I also had to be a little bit courageous and step outside of what I was so comfortable with, which was staying in the back of the room, um, listening in on other people. But like when the teacher came to give me feedback, I would freeze and I would try my best not to like F it up in the middle of it, but I still did anyway because I was so worried about what she would think of me based on just me moving, right? I thought she would personally judge me, even though she never did. Like I thought she would personally judge me because of how I moved my body. So this experience of her asking me led me on when I started teaching more. I started like mentoring my fellow people. They came to look to me to help explain movement because for me, in order for me to learn, I had to really understand what was happening in my body, but I also had to get really okay, really okay with asking a lot of questions. I asked a lot of questions. And I was like, can you do that again? Can you do that again? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? How did you do that? Can you touch that one? Can I put my hands on your body to feel the movement? Like, can I put my hands on my body to feel the movement? You know, like I was so inquisitive. And then I just allowed myself to discover and I allowed myself to learn. Like, I actually allowed myself to learn. So that moment, like, I don't even know if I've told her this. I should send her this video afterward. That moment really changed a lot of perspective. Like, you would ask me after 6 months to demonstrate the movement? Holy shit. But, you know, like, I'm not saying you will be a teacher or that you want to teach or that this is for you only if you want to teach. But what I really want to share with you and why I'm sharing this with you in the first place and what I really want you to take away from this is that I had to question why I looked at myself in such a way that wasn't in line with how she looked at me. We had two different, let me put my water down because y'all know I like to talk with my hands. She saw me this way and I saw myself this way. And yes, I am making it purposely. Like she saw me up here, I saw myself down here. So I had to like ask myself, how is this possible? How I see myself is just the way it is. I'm not very good at what I do. And she's like, you're amazing. You have the ability to learn. You have the ability to go far. You are so capable, more than you even think of yourself right now. And I was like looking up and like, figuratively looking up, and I'm like, are you nuts? What? I kind of like questioned her sanity for a second there, but like I trusted her. So I was like, okay, there must be something there that I just don't see yet. And I'm going to take her word for it. And I'm so glad that I did. So, my friends, like sometimes when you're learning something, it feels like everything's struggle, everything's really hard, and there's no way out. You're never going to change. You're never going to get better. You're just this fixed way of being that you can not learn. You're not going to be any good, like any of those things. It feels like that is fact. It feels like that's who you are. That's your identity. That's just the type of dancer. I don't dance. I have 2 left feet. Like you have no capability or no like realm in which you could actually do this. It feels like that. I get it because I did at the time. But she cracked my world open by doing this. And I want to let you know that I want to crack your world open too. Like the gift that she gave me, I want to give to you. Like when you think that you can't, you actually can. Maybe you're not there yet, but it doesn't mean that you won't ever get there. It just might take a little bit of hope or a little bit of faith in yourself to believe that on the other side of your hard work and effort and consistent showing up, that things will change, that you will learn the belly dance move, that you will feel better about your body, that you'll be able to walk into a room and not immediately shrug your shoulders down because you're trying to sink because you feel somewhat ashamed of your body or like you shouldn't be seen, like you want to hide in your clothes or like physically in the back of the room in a corner, keeping your head down, not making eye contact. like all of this isn't actually the absolute like hard rock truth of who you are. It can change at any moment. And so like the gift that she gave to me, I want to give to you. I want to tell you right now, you can do it. Things can change. You can learn belly dance. You can make a difference by believing in yourself and having a little faith that you will get there when you show up, when you keep working on it, when you keep applying effort, when you allow yourself to be wrong about you in the most beautiful ways. So just please consider what I'm saying. Consider that maybe you've been looking at yourself in a way that maybe isn't entirely accurate right now. Maybe there's another way to look at yourself and your capability of learning belly dance. Maybe there's another way of looking at yourself and your capability of showing up as a bold, powerful, beautiful, female presenting person. And you just want to be that. And you get to be that. So can we start to let go of the things that are in our way that actually get us there? Can we start to let go of any things that actually make us feel smaller when we think of ourselves in that way? Like me telling myself I'm fat with not a positive connotation to that phrase was not helpful. Like me looking in the mirror and feeling like I always had to have crappy posture because it was a way of me protecting myself and a way of me hiding, that wasn't helpful. And that all shifted. And I'm so grateful that she took a chance on me. And I'm so grateful that I trusted her enough to follow through with it. So, friends, if you want to belly dance, effing go for it. Don't hold back because you think you might not do well. Who cares? Go for it. At least try, and take that chance on yourself and think big, dream big, instead of allowing ourselves to be the victim in our own story over and over and over again in a way that just makes us feel shitty day in, day out. It doesn't have to be that way. So if you're ready to learn, and I know you are, you've been wanting to, you would not be watching this far in the video. Let's get real. So take my free class, just get introduced into my world of how I teach, how I talk to you. And I want you to be there and believe in yourself and just know I got your back. I really do. I will believe in you 100%. Not mid, as I was telling my friend, as the kids say nowadays. That's so mid. I'm like, no, I will go all, this is not going to make sense and I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to go all extra on you. I will go all the way and support you 100% because you're amazing. And I got your back. You got questions? I got your back. I'm going to answer it. You don't believe in yourself? I'll believe in you. Borrow my belief in you. Like I borrowed my teacher's faith in me and I took a chance on myself. Borrow mine until you can really develop yours the way that you want to. You can do this. So look in the description below. There's a free class down there. If you hit me up personally with my email or on the website on my contact form, I might just have a special offer for you outside of the free belly dance class. But if anything, get the free belly dance class below. I really look forward to belly dancing with you. Y'all can do this. Don't think that you can't. And even if you do think that you can't, maybe crack your world open and maybe think, maybe I can't right now, but what could happen in a month if I tried? All right. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful day.